Hello and good day. Here is Dr. Peter again with a weekly outlook, today directly from the Philippines. Today we focus on the end of the real estate bubble as an example of the deconstruction of Germany and the European Union and the consequences of this development. Who wants to build or acquire real estate today after the pattern of preceding generations and then let this pay by the tenants must make friends today with completely new realities. The excessive indebtedness of the states and the massive expansion of the money supply have created completely new bubbles, the bursting of which we can now observe in slow motion. In addition, there are newly created geopolitical flashpoints that are supposed to open up a way out of the exponential debt spiral. Today, we will take a look at the situation on the real estate market using Frankfurt, Germany as an example to show what is in store for real estate owners. Prices will fall permanently. Permanent means here the period of the forthcoming reorganization of the world economy, so about 10 to 15 years. Adjusted for inflation, prices for condominiums in Frankfurt Main have risen by 110% since 2010, but rents have risen by only 28% and people's income by only 10%. This means that a qualified worker from the service sector now has to raise 8 years' income to buy a 60 square meters condominium. An investor, meanwhile, has to rent out this apartment for 41 years, only to recoup the purchase price. These figures and the general tendency of society to shrink, multiplied by the long-term replacement of the population by immigrants from other cultures and continents and the further deindustrialization of Germany, you don't have to be a genius to realize that the real estate market in Germany has its best years behind it and the decline is now picking up speed. Personally, I expect residential real estate prices to halve in the next 5 to 10 years. If the proponents of a NATO war against Russia succeed on German soil, then real estate prices will go to zero anyway. So the outlook is bleak in every respect. I can only recommend here what is to be done in good risk management. Damage limitation. Where there of each personal pain their fault lies, it's individually different. But from the end of the story, it is always better to get 70 or 80% of the market value of a property than 30% or nothing at all. In life, not everything always goes smoothly. Losses are part of the normal course of a life in its entirety. The important thing is to know how to adapt to the circumstances, to remain flexible and agile, or to create these attributes. My job as CEO at croesus-asset.management is to predict trends and future probabilities, or to derive them from the fact at hand and prepare the company for them. It is no different in real life. If you are awake and use your common sense, you can see where the journey is heading in Germany and Europe. In the end, you always have to ask about the individual interest of the decision makers involved. It is important to gather as much different information as possible in order to form a halfway resilient opinion. None of us knows everything or has enough information to be able to make a final judgment. Even the decision makers involved don't know who they can trust and who will stand by them in the face of the upheavals that are rolling towards us all. Because everything is always connected to everyone and no one can ultimately see the consequences of their decision through to the end. Developments are ultimately unpredictable. That is why we are always talking about probabilities. It is always good to be prepared for the worst, but not to need it in the end. This is true for maybe airbags in cars, for reserve parachutes, for any kind of emergency kit. It is good to know they're there, but hopefully never to need them. Croesus-asset management can be a reinsurance for one or the other of you. in case the lights go out in Germany and Europe. Accounts and private property are confiscated or frozen, pensions and retirement entitlements vanish into thin air. Because outside Europe, things are not at all as people in Germany have to be led to believe since birth. Abroad, and there especially in Asia, there are far fewer restrictions, obstacles and regulations. And personal responsibility and entrepreneurship are encouraged as nowhere else in the world. In Germany, everything is under permanent state control so that one has all the necessary information when needed and all the rights to intervention to boot. Croesus-Asset Management specialized in exponential progressive wealth accumulation and decentralized blockchain-backed asset protection. In this area, Croesus has a unique selling proposition. Stay well informed. Visit our website, become part of the Croesus family. I look forward to seeing you. Yours sincerely, Dr. Peter Reinhardt.